Our first question is, what is your favorite part of the day?
Probably the couple hours before bed, if I have the luxury of relaxing on the couch and watching one or two episodes of my favorite show. That's when I feel like I'm getting reward of the day.
And what is something you learned last week?
Last week, I'm currently taking both Spanish and Japanese classes almost daily, so I would say I've learned a lot. If I have to pick one thing, I can't pinpoint one thing, just some vocabulary from, I guess, Spanish and Japanese. Yeah.
What is one thing you can do that no one else can do?
I can do that no one else can do. Let's see. I mean, probably a lot of people can do, but not many people that I meet in daily life can speak 4 different languages a day. I can do that.
If you could gain any skill or talent, what would it be?
I am currently trying to learn how to learn some programming languages, so that's a skill I like to acquire.
What is your favorite thing to teach?
Favorite thing to teach will be my current Chinese classes.
What is your fondest memory of high school?
Fondest memory of high school? Probably the time when I first experienced what was like living in a dorm with 7 other girls, and then we stay up late chatting, about gossiping or like haunted story, things like that.
What was your favorite subject in high school?
Subject. That's a hard one because I don't have many subjects I really like. Maybe English? Yeah.
If you could teach any other subject, what would it be?
Probably ELD.
If you were not a teacher, what would you be?
Not a teacher. Maybe I can't imagine myself not as a teacher, because that's what my skill set prepares me to do. Maybe a translator. Yeah.
And what did you want to be in high school?
Oh, I wanted to be a doctor because it was in my name. I thought I would be a doctor. It did not happen.
Why did you become a teacher?
Because I had some experience in college doing either volunteer work or like part-time job teaching children, and I really enjoyed it. And after graduation from college, one of my good friends recommended me to try this position in private school and to really figure out if I want to continue my path with teaching. And I did, and that year was really helpful for me to figure out what age group, what subject I wanted to teach, and if I'm really passionate about, to go to graduate school and become a better teacher.
And what is your proudest moment as a teacher?
Proudest moments, I guess it's when I see students making progress, especially those who did not have a lot of access speaking Chinese outside class, and after period of time they can communicate themselves clearly in Chinese. It's a really proud moment to see them making the progress.
What chore do you absolutely hate doing?
Oh, folding laundry. Yeah.
What are your biggest pet peeves?
That's a hard one. I guess there's so many to pick from. Maybe I can say one about my husband. When he leaves the dirty dishes on top of the dishwasher, like that annoys me the most.
What do you like most about your current job?
I like connecting with the students, and when I'm in front of the students, I have a different persona, which is very different from who I am outside class, and I was able to basically express myself in a different way, in a more, it's a silly way, because I act things out and trying to make them laugh, which I normally don't do outside of class.
If there was one thing you could improve about Monte Vista, what would it be?
will be make the workload or general stress academically way less, yeah, and still makes parents and students happy, which seems like impossible goal.
If you could witness one event from history, what would it be?
It has to be like history things that already happened, right? Cannot be a future history. I guess I like to go back, travel back in Tang Dynasty, and just to see what the peak of the Asian Chinese dynasty looks like.
What is the most embarrassing moment you've ever had?
Most embarrassing moment. There are so many of them. I guess when I first came to US, I mean for a while, I was still struggling to memorize the full name of everyone. So sometimes I will send out occasionally. I will send out emails to the wrong person because I mess up their last name. And if the one time the content of the message was kind of like sensitive, but totally sent to the wrong person with the same first name. Yeah, it's very embarrassing.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Stop time so I can sleep more.
What would be the title of a movie about yourself?
The woman with strong will.
Okay. What would you do as the President of the United States?
So many things. I guess the first one, make healthcare available for everyone and equal pay.
If there was one question you could ask about the future, what would it be?
My future self or future in general? Like, what's going to happen in the future? Like,
In general.
In general. 50 years later, will there be AI developed enough to take care of older people who don't have their siblings to take care of them? That's a very specific question.
What's one thing that you would tell your past self?
Everything will be okay. It's more important to do what makes you feel good than what looks good. And don't make things that you will regret. Just do your best.
Who is your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration, there are so many people in my life. I would say currently is my husband, who is way much calmer than me and very objective when dealing with situations, and at the same time very empathetic.
What is something you can't do but wish you could?
I can't do. I wish I'm not obsessed with grading. Like grading every single thing. I wish I can let go.
What's the strangest name a student has called you?
Probably they call me Miss Chang, which is the other teacher occasionally.
What would you do with $10 million?
Definitely pay my mortgage first, and then put some money into investment and travel around the world with my husband.
What is the first thing you do after work?
Driving home while listening to my favorite comedy show so I can laugh aloud and relax.
What is something you wish you knew as a 16-year-old?
16-year-old, wish I knew. You don't have to become a doctor. Study what makes you happy the most, and you're good enough. You don't have to prove yourself.
What is the one thing you want to do before you die?
Definitely travel around the world.
What is your favorite word?
Favorite word? I have two words. Feeling good. Feel good.
What was the last book you read?
The Vanishing Half. The Vanishing Half. Yeah, it's really good.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. Binge watching shows, crime shows specifically.
What is your favorite animal and why?
I like all chubby animals because I feel like chubby is cute and then gives a lot of texture when you touch them.
What are you looking most forward to in the next 10 years?
Next 10 years, hopefully I can feel less stressed at my work. There's so much preparation and grading, and learn more languages and travel around the world with my husband.
What book do you recommend to others?
Book. I like the book I just finished reading, The Vanishing Half. It's talking about a lot of important social issues like racism, classism, but in a very interesting, unique story.
What is your favorite song right now?
Favorite song right now? Oh, I like Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift's Joker and the Queen.
What product would you stockpile if you found out it wasn't going to be sold anymore?
There are a lot. Cookie butter, Trader Joe's cookie butter.
What was the last thing that you purchased?
I recently purchased a lot of organizers on Amazon because I love tidying up and organizing my spaces.
If you could meet any person, dead or alive, who would it be and
Harry
why?
Potter. Sorry, would I count Harry Potter? Harry Potter, yeah. Because I grew up with Harry Potter. Like, I read him when I was the same age as Harry Potter. So it took a big part of my life. And when I was in high school, maybe middle school, there was a period I was really stressed out about, academic and everything. I really wish I would have received a letter from Hogwarts, even knowing that it's not gonna happen.
If you could change your name, what would you change it to?
Change my name? Actually, my current English name is, I gave myself that name because it sounds different but very similar to my Chinese name. It's easier for people to pronounce. I mean, legally, that's not my name. If I have to change it, that'll be the name I adopt. Yeah.
What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? All kinds of sweets. I like birthday cake. The one without icing but cream on top.
Do you believe aliens exist?
I used to. I think maybe a small part of me believed that.
What is your favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday might be Chinese New Year because there are all kinds of foods to eat.
What's your favorite sports team?
Favorite sports team? I don't know much about sports, but if I have to pick one, maybe Golden State Warriors.
If you could get a tattoo, what would it be and why?
Tattoo, maybe words on my wrist, inside of my wrist, something that I can see easily. Feel good.
What is the most valuable lesson you've learned in your life?
I guess currently I'm on this journey to really discovering that focusing on what's making you feel good as a person inside, basically all the intrinsic value is more important than extrinsic value. I would say that's a big lesson I'm still practicing on a daily basis.
How would you want to be remembered?
Someone who seems happy with her life and doing her best at her work, at her job. Yeah.
What is something that your students have taught you?
I feel like specifically Mount Vista students have taught me a lot. Genuinely just being kind and really doing your best, pursuing things that you think is meaningful for you. I think the inspiration of learning, the other two languages, Spanish and Japanese at the same time, is inspired by my Chinese students.